Today's Homestead Security and Defenses is what we're looking at. Homestead Security and Defenses. So like I say, there's a separate kind of a ordeal that we need to consider, make considerations for if we're doing a bug out scenario. That would be a completely different show that I do. We'll be talking about defenses, security, protection in a bugging out scenario, right? So what we're going to be focusing here today on is going to be the homestead. So this is like... So what we're going to do is we're going to base this on a complete grid down. So this is our SHTF. This is how we're going to need this security and defenses big time because it's Mad Max styly. This is what we're heading for. So this is our situation report, right? So just try and get your mindset into this. I'm sure you've pictured it a million times, but this is going to be the 1,000,001st time. Complete grid down scenario, no juice, no outlets, no nothing. Inoperable sewage systems, flush the toilet, it's not going anywhere. Inoperable water system, turn the faucet, turn the tap, no water's coming out. Total cell and internet outage as well. Don't forget your cell towers have less than about 48 hours worth of battery backup in them. So major transport disruptions, which is just inevitable, of course, where you don't have any traffic systems running, you don't have any, people don't care, they're in a panic, they're trying to get to the store, which is closed or completely ransacked already. All trade and commerce ceased with the digital system we're already in. Once the internet goes down, the power goes down, they have no way of taking your money, they have no way of checking that item through the till to even know what it costs. I'm going to look at this from a perimeter point of view, and it's just the easier way to break it down. So we're going to start off from our least biggest threat, from starting all the way out, and then we're going to work in closer and closer and closer into ourselves. So remember that. Don't let them get to your house. By then it's too late. Like this. So perimeter defenses, security and defenses when SHTF, don't forget, this is all about your homestead area. Bugging out security is a different thing we'll get into. So this is the danger zone now, because this is your building your home. This is your walls, your windows, your doors of your home. They're up against your walls. They're at your door. They're at your windows. They're on your property. Guess what? You failed already. So you're building home. This is it. There's two more after this, and it's... So, emergency exit route and plan. Do not. It's all very well creating choke points. Let's maybe make it so it's easier for people to have to come around the front rather than the back. You can use things like rubbish, scrap metal, things like this that we talked about, right? To block off the driveway from them coming in. But that's at least where you talk to them. You could do the same around the back, right? But the thing is that when we're talking about funneling threats to one entrance, manageable threats, it means you don't want to be flanked from lots of different sides. If you can make it easy so that people are just funneled into one doorway, it means you've only got one point of entry to defend. It's far easier. Yeah? But don't let that get you trapped. If you give yourself only one exit and one entrance, then you've got pretty small options. If your house does suddenly catch on fire, or you do get somebody piling through a window somewhere, and you need to leave yourself with various options of escape routes as well. So although you want to funnel the threats to one entrance of your property ideally, if you have to, right? Because you might be in a situation you don't have a front garden or a back garden, right? So the window above entrance, I've talked about that, communicate through this, right? Just use the psychology, right? They'll have to step back to see who's talking to them, right? Cheers, my darlings. So you need to start figuring out as well your escape rooms. So you need to start thinking through the scenario, right? We know what it is. It's Mad Max, right? We know who it is. It's a bunch of gnarly people who are crazy. Right? They're banging at your door. They're bashing their way through. You need to think now. What your escape room's going to be, and once you get into that escape room, what's in there to help you defend yourself, right? So you can have things like your furniture barricades, your weapon stashes already figured out in this particular retreat point. So this is like a point where you can fall back to retreat. So if you do get over dominated on the hallway, maybe, let's say they do manage to push through the door, right? And you get overpowered. You need to have a fallback position, right? Within your home, that ideally is some sort of an escape room, where you've got shields and you've got barricades as well, weapon stashes, so you're ready to just you've got what you need, yeah? The other thing as well to bear in mind in your home is you're going to need to make sure you got your gas sensors, your smoke sensors. You're going to be cooking indoors, right? And you're going to be probably having all your windows closed so you can keep the smell in. right? You're going to be having the curtains closed and things like this because you'll be keeping the light in so that people outside can't see you, have got power, have got this, have got that, have got gas, have got heating, have got food, and all the stuff they haven't got, right? You need to make sure that these sorts of things aren't going to catch you out, because you've got VOC is volatile organic compounds, so again, sort of butane, propane, things like this, alcohol, fumes, carbon monoxide, super important. You need to make sure, if you're going to, don't be shutting all your stuff up, because you're going to be getting fumed out big time for your own stuff, right? So as much as you're trying to shut everybody out, right, remember that you're shutting inside with you all of these nasties. Fire extinguishers, I shouldn't need to say that more than once, should I? Fire blankets. If people are using petrol bombs, you know what I mean, with bottles and stuff, right? Fuel. These are things where powder's a good one. You want to have fire extinguishers, you want powder because they're good for chemical and electric versus water or anything else. You're better off with the powder ones for chemical and electric fires. But even a fire blanket can be quite handy, because if you get gasoline on you that's ignited, then, you know, you say roll around, but a fire blanket will do it straight away. Decoy prep supplies. Again, like we've got the escape rooms here, you can have like a fast negotiation misdirection here with your decoy prep supplies. So you might have like racks and racks and racks full of food in your basement somewhere or whatever, right? As your full-on preps of your mountain house and all this business going on in your attic, right? But what you may want to consider doing is just to have like a milk crate sort of like sized box full of like tins and convenient stuff that looks like that's all your preps. On the kitchen counter or something, I don't know, right? In a kitchen cupboard, and they say, give me some food, or else, where is it? And you say, it's on the kitchen, just take it, just please leave me alone, just take it, right? So if you're a you know, a vulnerable person, like you feel like you're a vulnerable person, living on your own, or maybe just one or two of you or something like that, then having something like some decoy prep supplies can be a great way to just get them to just grab it and go. They're just going to want food, right? They don't really want to have to go and logging out people from the admin when they don't need to. Remember what I said at the start of this show about don't be doing any criminal activities you don't need to. Don't be harming anyone or anything you don't need to. Because there will potentially be retrospective law applied once law is re-established as to what went on during that purge time. Yeah? So, to give them a way to just grab a small box of stuff and run, they'll feel like they're happy. They'll feel like they've got all your stuff. Right? That'll be good for them. They're out. Gone. It might not work every time, but it's got to be worth a try, right? Just put some things separate in a box that you can just, you know, stuff like that, and then they'll just hopefully grab it and run, because they're just desperate. They just want food. They don't really want to hurt you, particularly if they're from your local area. As I said, they're probably going to see you on the school run next weekend for all they know, right? So your building home is a tricky one, because you do need to think this through. You do have intimate knowledge of your home and the rooms it has, and the attic options, the basement options, the shelving options, the under the cupboard options, the where you are sleeping at night options. But this needs to fall in line with like your recon room. Like, for example, like I said, if you've got a small CCTV screen running off your battery bank, right, to keep monitoring the CCTV, you'll have your ham radios in there. You know, you need to decide on a room, and you need to have an alternative contingency room in case that gets compromised, damaged, whatever, more for the reasons that you can't think of than for the reasons you can, don't forget. So this is all important stuff, but bear in mind, right, and I'll remind you here that if a stranger has got onto your property and knocked on your door, right, you have already failed, as I said. Because you need to stop them getting to this point. Once they're in your home, this is bad news. You're now one-to-one combat, which we're going to get into next. Which we shouldn't have to, but we're going to have to, right? So always directly engage the threat at your perimeter of your property, not at your door. The minute you open your door, they're straight in, and that's it. You're overpowered. It's all game over at that point in time. Cheers, my wonderful wolf pack. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, everyone. Live activity alerts. Just make sure we're not missing anything. So this is an important one, the perimeter defenses, because if you don't get the building home externals right, yeah, because don't forget, this is the danger zone, right? This whole building home, walls, windows, doors of your home and your property and your garden, this is the danger zone, because the minute that's breached, the only point after that breach is where? Personal protection. This is one-to-one hand combat. One-to-one hand combat we're talking about here.